Now, you've appeared on many television programs throughout the year, such as Pop Goes the Country and in Nashville Now. And is there one particular appearance that stands out in your memory that is special to you?
Well, I thought doing the Dinah Shore show was wonderful. She was a really wonderful lady. I liked that one. I liked.
Well, you even did some acting at one point on, I think the show was called I-40 Paradise, which aired on TNN. I think that was a drama.
I did that. That was fun too. I liked that too. I like Merv Griffin. I really liked doing his show. Rex Allen Jr. and I did the Merv Griffin show, and that was a lot of fun.
And it's sort of interesting now that a lot of these clips are available on YouTube. Around 1978, 79, you can see that you went from wearing the traditional kind of, almost like Kitty Wells style outfits to dressing sort of more like how Dottie West was at that time. So you were sort of a trailblazer and sort of updating the image in country music.
I suppose I was.
Was that something that you intentionally tried to do?
I dressed in tuxedos for a while, and I'd get tired of that, and then I'd dress and have Patsy Sled make dresses, and I had boots alike, and I guess what happened was I would just get tired of wearing something for a year, and then I'd just change and see if I liked that better. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But I always wanted my band to look nice. I didn't allow them to wear, jeans that had holes all through them and shirts that looked raggedy. I always wanted them to look nice, and so
which is what anyone wears today in what they call country music. It's not really country music to me, but they all wear just like ripped T-shirts and jeans and stuff.
But I didn't like that. I wanted them to look nice.
No, I don't either. I always liked I always had like Western shirts. I'd wear a suit when I would perform.
Absolutely.
And so, but the 1980s, you started recording. I guess it could best be described as Christian country music, maybe contemporary gospel, with your daughter, Holly.
With my daughter. Holly was just here 2 weeks ago, and we sang together, which is a real blessing and a real joy, because it's so much fun to sing with your daughter. And Christian country music I really liked. In the 90s, it was sort of a new genre of music. It was country music with Christian lyrics, and I really liked that. And Holly and I decided we would just sing Christian music for a while. Well, I thought Christian country music would take off, but it never really did. But there are still people that sing it. Susie Luxinger sings Christian country music. She's Reba McEntire's sister.
Sure. And Amy Grant, sort of, though she's more a little bit of Christian pop, but she has some of the country flavorings in it.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I like the songs, and I wrote many, many songs in Christian country music, and a lot of them, and of course it was a very small audience, but a lot of the songs that Holly and I wrote, and that I wrote, went to number one, like God's Bigger Than Wall Street. That went to number one, and I can go on and on. We had one that we wrote called Just the Beginning was number one. I'm looking here. Rise Up was number one. The Rain Falls was number one. We had a lot of number one records, but it was a small audience. And I always, even in my country shows, always, I put at least one religious song in my show.
But I was wondering, sort of, how did you decide to break into that genre to begin with? What was that? Just
because I liked the sound. And I had the opportunity to work with Holly. And Holly, even when Holly was like in high school, sometimes Holly would go on the road and sing backup for me. But she also was a great clogger, so I let her clog in the show.
And I guess we should talk about what you are probably known best for, the Tennessee yodeler. You're known for your yodeling, which is featured prominently on recordings of Patsy Montana tunes that you recorded your own version of. I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart, and He Taught Me How to Yodel. So I was wondering, how did you first get interested in yodeling?
Well, I watched a show. Like I said, I'm from Ohio, and there was a show called the Midwestern Hayride out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and there was a gal on there named Bonnie Lou. And Bonnie Lou would yodel, and I would watch her with my dad. And I thought, you know what? I think I can do that. So I went. I had a horse, and I'd jump up on that horse. I suppose I was, like 13 or 14 by then. And I'd ride in the field, and I would practice. And that's the best way to do it, because you do not want to yodel in front of anybody till you know how, because it is not a pretty sound. So I just practice and practice and practice it right along until I got it right. And then I thought, I can do this. And I was playing one of the first shows I did that it was after $15. I might have made 50 or 100. I was playing someplace with a local band, and everybody was dying. It was just so, I mean, and I during a break I went, guys, I think I can liven this thing up. I think I can yodel. You think you could play that? It's just real simple. 1 4 5 2 1 4 5 2. You think we can play that? Well, we did it. I sang. He taught me how to yodel, and I said, let's do it. So we did it, and the people loved it. And I went, and from that day on, I put a yodel song in every show I ever did.
Well, and yodeling has sort of, I think, become kind of a lost art in some ways.
Yeah.
But you worked with a young lady who was 11 years old at the time, and she became the runner-up on the first season of America's Got Talent. A young lady by the name of Taylor Ware. So how did you first meet Taylor?
Well, let me think about that. Didn't know you were going to ask me a question. Oh, I know. I was doing at a convention. They asked me if I would teach young kids how to yodel. Not literally teach them, but just give them some information. So I did, and Taylor Ware came by with her mom. And I had a booklet that I gave them. I just gave it to them. And she said, do you think you might be able to teach me to yodel? And I went, well, I could try. And so later on, she didn't live far from me anyhow, in Brentwood, Tennessee. And so later on, I talked to her mom, and she decided that she would. And so I started teaching Taylor how to yodel. She would come by the house and once a week and stay for an hour. And I go, no, you have to do it this way. And yodeling is vowels, A-E-I-O-U, T's, D's, and L's, consonants. And there's just a certain way you teach it. And I taught her how to yodel. And then after a while, I went, Taylor, I can't teach you anymore. You know how to do it. Then I taught another little girl. Her name was Megan Ray. I don't know if that was really her last name. I taught her to yodel, too. And then I taught a little girl named Pat out in Colorado how to yodel. I taught 4 or 5 kids how to yodel. Young kids, never any adults. But Taylor was quite the best. She was the best of the lot.
Well, before I let you go, Margo, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me here. It's a true honor to have you. I really enjoy your music so much. But I'm just wondering, what projects have you been working on lately, or what do you have planned for the future?
Well, right now, I'm working on writing a couple new songs. I'm going to do a big show in February, right here I live in Florida now, in the Villages. And I'm working on a big show, and we're renting a big hall to do a Valentine dance in February. And I'm also doing a show for our church in January. And I'm also being in a play here in the Villages. So I have those things started right now.
So you're far from retired. You're keeping busy still.
No. I stay busy. And in the Villages, if you don't stay busy, I mean, you can do something. You can do everything. I love the Village. It's a great place to live. So yes, I do stay busy. That's the best thing to do, is stay busy.
Margo, thank you so much for appearing here.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling.
No, you're very welcome, and thank you so much.